Hello everyone, welcome to a new video for Bitcoin price predictions. This is the indicators analysis. We're gonna see what happened for Bitcoin, what it might happen regarding the indicators, how it works in our scenarios, in Elliott wave scenarios. And of course, don't forget to watch the live stream from yesterday. There is many altcoins that has been analyzed, and I divided all the time frames for every single coin so you can find it very easier. So yeah, let's start this on the 1 hour chart with the volume for a Bitcoin. And regarding the volume and for the 1 hour chart current scenario, as you can see, the highest amount of volume lately, it has been finished exactly in this area. And this area here, yeah, shows, of course, high amount of volume, of course, with this wave, meaning it's a finished 3 corrective wave. It's a finished structure here, meaning your wave 2 might be finished, of course. And as you can see, also another amount of volume finished here for your finished 1 and 2. So very nice from the volume here, indication that we have finished those 2 waves, and we're looking, of course, still toward the downside actually, to see, of course, lower prices. So yeah, giving us the signals with our counting here, give us much more confidence that yes, this can be a very 1-2 scenario, and then continuation toward the downside. So yeah, the volume, I would say, is working perfectly with our scenario on the 1 hour chart for more bearish actually, rather than bullish. Now on the RSI, nothing interesting, to be honest. On the RSI, I already took a look before the video, of course, and as you can see, the most significant signal here is probably a little bit of divergence here, but not really strong for bullish. Yeah, it can push a little bit higher the price, yeah, but it can be a continuation for your WXY. So yeah, be careful with it. Nothing significant. The RSI is moving exactly the same shape like the price action, and that means, of course, more boring sideways. On the 4 hour chart, RSI is also the same. Nothing very significant since this stop here, right, until here as well. Until here, we see the same move toward the downside, as you can see. So nothing really important. Also the same move toward the upside. A lot of consolidation, guys. So yeah, on the 4 hour and 1 hour chart, not so much interesting. On the daily, the only signal that we get here on the daily is, of course, taken from, of course, this side here, where we see exhaustion of buying. Yeah, so the exhaustion coming from here exactly, as you can see the divergence in the top, where we see an exhaustion for buying, and of course put a pressure with the sellers toward the downside. Very interesting signal, of course, on the daily for the RSI. To mention, of course, it's much more bearish. And yeah, for the weekly, the most interesting is, of course, your wave 3 to the wave 5 is so much divergence right now. As you can see, we've taken from wave 3 to the wave 5, a big divergence on the tops, meaning like a lot of exhaustion, and it can, of course, bring us for more lower prices. And as you can see, for this bull run, we have already reached the overbought area, and we left it. Yeah, so by leaving this overbought area, that is, of course, a little bit questionable if we are coming back. I mean, it can come back probably, but I doubt that it's gonna take the overbought area. I think it can go up a little bit, probably for one more leg toward the upside, which is one of our scenario where we still probably have one more leg before we move toward the downside. Yeah, so these are the probabilities, and the RSI is confirming it, right? So very nice. On the monthly RSI, let's see what do we get. Well, simply exhaustion, as you can see, a very clear exhaustion for buyers. Yeah, so we have to be careful with it, guys. We have to be careful also here. Yeah, the same exhaustion coming from the top, so we have to be careful with Bitcoin. It might not be as we hear in many times that, of course, Bitcoin is very bullish with most of the time, but of course there is sometimes where you have to be careful with it because it might turn up on you. Yeah, so let's move to MACD. RSI, most interesting indication were daily, weekly, and monthly. They are all bearish. For the MACD on the daily, very interesting as well. I mean, yeah, we're gonna move to the lower for MACD later on, but very interesting to see the daily. So on the daily, you can see we're very close for a bullish cross formation, but we didn't yet. So let me make this more bigger. Here we go. As you can see, we're very close for a bullish cross formation, but I doubt that we're gonna form this one because I think that it might, of course, move for higher a little bit, but after all, it's gonna move back down because you are already under the zero. I believe that it's gonna play as kind of like resistance. Yeah, it might start a little bit of green here, but continuation toward the downside, and that because of the pressure coming from the weekly. Here we go. Yep, a very clear bearish cross coming from the weekly, putting a lot of pressure on the smaller time frames. Yeah, so very bearish signal, right? And especially with this red candle that we're gonna close today, this weekly. Yeah, so this weekly candle, we're gonna close it today, and it might, of course, close like this or probably in red. Nobody knows. We're gonna see at the night, but yeah, it's not looking good. Yeah, so you have to expect the next week probably to be red as well. Yeah. Very important signal also on the monthly for the MACD. Of course, it's very open trend, but don't forget that this is your first candle in light color after three candles and after already a curve made for your wave 3. So very probable that we have finished, of course, and we're moving now with some light color for the green. Yeah, so I believe that, yeah, I think guys, higher probability that we have finished the bull run. Probably one more leg still possible, of course. I mean, one more leg, and that's why I mentioned that our fifth leg toward the upside can be very shallow. It can take the all-time high, but it can be very shallow. Or it can be something like ending diagonal as well, one of the possibilities. But yeah, I believe that one more leg is very possible. It's not necessary to have a very green candle for it, by the way. It can be just a wick and then move toward the downside. So this is the idea. Now, if we move lower for the MACD, yeah, for our chart, very bearish, right? We are in a bearish cross formation, and yeah, we have finished the light colors, and probably we're moving into red colors toward the downside. And of course, I mean, it's not necessarily to move down. It can continue up, but yeah, higher possibility, of course, to continue for lower prices, right? Based on our scenario as well. For Elliott wave, finish WXY, continuation toward the downside. The 1 hour chart, well, it is already open bearish scenario, open bearish trend, still open, breaking the zero very easily and decisively, and probably, of course, getting a little bit more red. Yeah, so and then until we turn green later on. So yeah, basically the MACD is very bearish on all time frames, I would say, mostly. Yeah, so very interesting. Now on the KGT, so on the KGT 15-minute chart, very interesting to see. Of course, you have a very clear convergence for the bearish, and this was a signal from the Friday. And of course, we already have a bullish divergence. However, not very strong. It was reversed again. And here we go. It's still rangy currently. If we go to the 1 hour chart, I prefer to show in the indicator analysis a little bit more for the 1 hour chart. And as you can see on the 1 hour chart, the strongest signals, let's see, here we go, 500, you got a very strong signal. Noting that on the 1 hour chart, it will show you mostly the strongest signal on your whole bull cycles. And this is one of them, guys. This is one of them. So probably guys, we have to be careful with it, of course. As you can see, your signals here are 1 2 1 2 1 2 3, where you found the sell because it's your wave 3 probably, and then 4 and a 5, and then 4 and a 5. Yeah, so I mean here we see, of course, another 4 probably, but yeah, with the signal here you cannot really say that you have a 5. Okay, so if we are expecting more 4-5 as triple 1-2, well, it's not really given here because we have already 500 strength signal already given in conversions with the top. So yeah, I suggest to be very careful with it. Yeah, it's very rare that KGT do something wrong. It's very precise, and yeah, so the scenarios are also, if you want to take this as bullish, it is possible, but still, of course, you have to take always the most recent signals in consideration. We are in a bearish signal. Yeah, so that was it for Bitcoin, the indicators analysis. Most of them are very bearish, guys. Regarding RSI, we saw many exhaustion. MACD are bearish on all time frame. KGT is already very clear with the bearish signals. And of course, yeah, the volume also confirm our pattern here for WXY in 1-2. That was it for Bitcoin indicators analysis. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your likes and comments. See you in the next one. Bye bye.